All right, what's up, everyone? Draft-a-Palooza is back. It is Monday, and we're drafting best ball teams all summer long. Just lots of best ball teams all summer. A little DraftKings, a little underdog, a little bit of maybe something else. Who knows what comes around, right? But that's the goal here. We're going to be drafting best balls. We got a balls bouncing all over the place. We're doing it together. We're having fun. We're prepping for our fantasy football season. And a couple of headlines today. You know, it's Monday, June 23rd. And the most interesting thing I read over the weekend was actually, it was Aaron Rodgers talking about his time with the Jets, right? And he talks, and you know what? It's almost fun. The guy talks about his time with the Jets, and he says the running game was terrible. The design of the offense was horrible. How I couldn't believe it. I was completely flabbergasted. These schemes were shit. Like, he's talking about the scheme of the running game for the Jets. This is relevant because it pertains a little bit to Breece Hall, I guess. But he says the scheme was terrible. And here I'm thinking Nathaniel Hackett, right? They hire your guy to be the offensive coordinator. Everybody in New York knew Nathaniel Hackett is a hack, right? He's not good. He's crap. And yet they hired him for Aaron Rodgers. So this isn't it's not about bitterness. The running game was terrible under Rodgers. That's why the Jets were shit last year. That's why I think Rodgers can have success with the Steelers, because they're not running the Aaron Rodgers shit offense that the Jets tried to do. The Steelers are doing what the Steelers do, which will be managed perfectly by a veteran like Aaron Rodgers. So that aside, more interesting for me is just maybe Breece Hall isn't crap. Maybe the scheme was the issue. Maybe it's a fresh start this year. It's a lot of question marks. It's a lot of speculation. I don't really know, but I thought it was a relevant news article. Like, I thought that piece of information is kind of interesting. The other piece of news that I heard that might be relevant is Anthony Richardson is now, quote, expected to return for training camp. Okay, so even early last week, the headlines were saying Richardson might miss the first game, shoulder, we don't know, injuries. Now, him returning for training camp, it doesn't mean shit. Anthony Richardson is very close to done in his career. Like, he is hanging on by a string at this point. He looks terrible. He's always hurt. It's not good. But, it's just relevant for best ball. One of the problems in best ball is what we don't know today, people will know more of in a few weeks. So, what we don't know today, people will know more about in a few weeks, right? So as we're drafting early teams, we either want to stay away from these situations, make our predictions about these situations. Not really sure, but that's basically how it goes. So with all that being said, let's get into it. BestBall-a-Palooza. I feel like we can go right back to underdog and my favorite. We'll do our first one here. I don't know who's out there with me, who's in the chat right now. But there he is. The Arbs last night in the final made money. I love it. Yeah. Dude, how sad are you to see like NBA Arbs kind of like taking a break? Sucks, right? What a game. I by the way, last night I put a massive bet early. I didn't want to talk about it because it was almost embarrassing. But I put a massive bet on OKC to win the series at minus 700, $2,000. And I didn't say anything because, man, that was a sweat, bro. Like, that was a sweat. Just a straight bet. But yeah, the arbitrage, Sharp app, the arbitrage tool is crazy good. It's slowing down now. Really, I only use it now for NBA or pre-game MLB, NBA Live. And they're adding MMA. We're going to be adding tennis to it. So the ARB tool will keep going strong all through the summer. And then we'll be back obviously in September with NFL and, with multi-sports going at once. What's up, South Carolina? What's up, Blue Moon Monday? Polak. Let's go. All right, guys. Eliminator. Reminder how this contest works. This is my favorite one. I just keep doing a lot of these. I want to have a lot of entries in this because I want to try to get one all the way through, right? But remember how this works. Every week, half of the field is eliminated. half the field, gone. Week 1, you're up against your pod. So if you guys draft against me here, if you choose to do so, choose wisely and do so at your peril. Because 6 of us will get through week 1, and then you get scattered. You get scattered around. I don't like the weekly winners at all. I don't like the weekly winner. I like this one. I actually, you know what? Fling is doing weekly winners like every Tuesday at 5. Get in there. All right, so I just hit enter. We got a ton of spots available, so whoever wants to join will be able to. But we're doing the $10 Eliminator on Underdog right now. 20-second clock. And it's filling up fast. Oh, you guys are aggressive. Let's go. So this is filling quick. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 spots left. So whoever wants to jump in there, you can do it. And remember, this one is every single week, half of the field is gone. By week 4, you're in the money in this one. This is what I like about it. So you kind of like don't even really have to look until week 4. Yeah. Ivan, does that change how you would? I think it should be the top half, but does that change? It's not pod based. It's week 1 against the pod that you're in, week 1 only. And then after that, it's not even the top half of all. They randomly assign you an opponent every week, which is why you need a lot of entries. Yeah, there it is. Fling's in here. I don't like the weekly. You know what? I hope so. I want to fucking promote it in season. Maybe it'll be me. I'm certainly going to draft a bunch of them. But I think that one almost requires, like, you have to really think hard about weekly winners. You could even, I'm seeing people that are like setting up a team for a specific week, like with a crazy stack for like week 8. I don't know. It's a bit too much thinking for me. It's definitely too much thinking for me, like beyond just drafting a good team. And I don't know. It doesn't suit what I want to do. I'll play DFS for that. So I don't know. It doesn't suit my way of approaching this. There we go. We got a little bet coming in. Brewers, Padres, the parlay, the Birdman. That's what's up. Birdman. Jimmy Birdman. Last name. All right. So we are getting ready to go live. Razor's with it. All right. Oh, here we go. We got everybody's here. Razor's in the draft at the one spot. You got UCF Jaguar sitting there at number 2. Soups, Fling, Fact 74. Those are the names I recognize. If I don't see you, if you're in here, let me know. We got Drago in there. I think that's the crew. So we have, looks like we got 6 people in the stream. We got bets being given out on stream. Let's go. That's what's up. Cash game strategy. I am drafting. I don't even know where I'm drafting. I'm paying too much attention to the chat. Where the fuck am I in this thing? Hold on. All right. I'm at 110. All right. There we go. Drago right behind me. So me and Drago, a little sanguige. But after that, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. You guys fight each other at the start. Razor starts off with Jamar Chase, then we see Barkley and the chalk rest of it. I continue to see, guys, there's a slight difference here between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's minimal. I mean, Underdog and DraftKings. With Underdog, Underdog, I tell you a whole story about FanDuel and Underdog. But there is a slight lean here towards running backs early relative to wide receivers. Let's see. So you see here, even Janty goes 1.8. McCaffrey goes 1.6. Derrick Henry at 1.9, which effectively takes out all of the round 1 running backs for me and leaves me in a situation where I am forced to take a wide receiver. I'll just go with Puka. Although Amon-Ra, Nico, it doesn't matter. No, I mean, the reason I was going to mention I don't think they'll do it. FanDuel bought Draft. The previous Underdog product, the guys who built Underdog, this was like one of the gaffes of the ultimate gaffes and how they fucked up. I'll tell you the story in a second. Hopefully no one sues me for sharing the story. Like, I don't know. Is it illegal to share? I don't know. But Whoa, this is getting weird already. Fuck. You know, I'm not a big Jonathan Taylor guy, but I kind of have to do it. All right, so I'll tell the story. FanDuel bought Draft. I believe it was called Draft, which was the original product that the makers of Underdog created years ago. FanDuel just straight buys them out. But the big mistake was they didn't really set the former people up with any sort of NDA, and not NDA, with a non-compete. So FanDuel buys the product. I think they ran snake drafts for a little bit, but they actually ended up just shelving it. Like they felt like they weren't making enough money. Yeah, no NDA, then KMA is right. So they felt like they weren't making that much money doing this snake drafts. FanDuel sees it as like, they don't like this shit. They don't like you paying like what we're doing here. I'm paying once, I get a whole season of action. They don't want that. They want you to play every day, right? So they were like, fuck this, but we'll take the names. The names are great and we'll use it for marketing purposes. But they paid all this money, like a lot of money. So they just threw it away. They threw away the tech, shelved it. Now, I'm sure there was an actual non-compete, but the second that non-compete wore off, so it might have been a 12-month, a 24-month, whatever it was, the minute that wore out, the same people who built the original draft, now I don't know what they did, but I assume they still had the code and they still had the knowledge and they still had everything. They just Underdog. Like they came out and they were like, yep, we've done it before. We're going to build another one. And they came out and they built Underdog. FanDuel just shelved effectively what was the exact same product. They threw it away. They took all the users. Yeah. Does FanDuel and Yahoo offer yearly BestBall? FanDuel does not do it. Absolutely not. And neither does Yahoo. Yahoo has a product that's more, not BestBall. It's just season-long leagues against strangers that you could just enter. So I wouldn't call it's not BestBall. You have to manage the team. I don't know that they have something else, but Sleeper app does BestBall. And like for DFS Army guys, if you're Sammy Telesco, if you're in DFS Army, I've kind of asked some of the staff here to start. Wait, where am I? Puka. I'm up next. Hold on. I've asked some of the staff. I need running backs to start setting up just leagues for the members. So there's one posted in my channel right now. I think Tattoo posted it, and it's just a sleeper league. You'll pay. I think it's $25 kind of league that will set up 12-man that will run on Sleeper. Do it through League Safe, so all the payments are safe. And if we want to have some fun against one another, little bragging rights, where you're paying a little closer attention to it than, let's say, like an Underdog or a DraftKings league, which is kind of buried in your thing. Sleeper is what I use to play season long and dynasty fantasy football. So we already have a bunch of like DFS Army staff and like member dynasty leagues and shit like that, but we can get more of it going. It's the summer of fantasy football. Let's go. You know what I mean? I need another running back. I've got two. I'm going to go Made Omarion. I love Omarion Hampton. I don't know if I'm overdoing it with him this year or not. I really don't, but I got a lot of Omarion Hampton this year. Here's my thought process with him. Why is Ashton Janty on a less good team goes in round 1, and Omarion Hampton, also a first-round running back, I got him in middle of round 4 on a better team that runs the football better than the Raiders. The only problem there is Najee Harris is in the way, but we saw it last year. That team has enough running back volume to feed everybody. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I went. Plus, I don't think Najee Harris is not good. I think he's fine. I think he's middling, but I don't think he's. We already know what he is, and I don't think he's good enough where he's going to come out running like a banshee and unseating the rookie first-round pick. So that's my thought with Omarion Hampton. That's why I have a lot of him this year. I keep drafting him, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so I've got 3 running backs, and Puka. Puka's a little dangerous in terms of a best ball guy, just because he's a high injury type of player, gets hurt a lot. But remember, in this format, we're really just looking to win the first few weeks. So I look to win the whole thing, but priority one is get past week 3. So we want a strong early season kind of schedule. We want to keep those bye weeks. For me, I'm pushing. I prefer the bye weeks as late as possible. Listen, if I'm getting wiped out, and here's another thing: you really want to space these bye weeks out so they're not. 1 week will wipe you out. You actually should pay attention to bye weeks a little bit here. Like 1 week will wipe you out if you have too many buys. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Eliminator. Yeah, I'll take it, man. If I get to, I'm up 1,000. But those are the weeks. By the way, when you're in the $1,000, every single week is so much money. Later in the season is where these entries actually become the most valuable, because you're looking and you're like, oh my God, I'm already winning 1,000. But if I make it to next week, I'm up 2,500. That's the fun part, man. You know how fun it would be in this Eliminator to have like multiple lineups, multiple weeks in. That is just fire. So there really is a let's see what's going on here at running back. Let's see what's going on here wide receiver. I'm about to pick. So there goes Metcalf. Tight end group, Sam Laporta. QBs still have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not as much of a difference maker to me as maybe what some of the other players could be. All right, I don't love these guys. Travis Hunter, Waddle, Jennings. Don't love that. QB, I guess we're going to go with Joe. Take a quality QB, I guess. Yeah. Not kind of the way I wanted to go. By the way, this format, Polak says Najee has never even had in his whole career a 40-yard run. Yeah. And by the way, I if I'm making it to week 14, I don't want all my buys there, bro. I want to get past it and make, $20K the next week. So it gets crazy in this format. I just want to get there. All right, wide receiver group. Juwan Jennings. Should I take a shot with Hunter? I don't like it. I'm going to go Jennings here, I guess. That's early for Jennings. I don't know why I did that. Some information came out on Travis Hunter about his dual role. And I think the more we find out about Hunter is super dangerous. Travis Hunter is like one of the most dangerous players in the draft this year. I don't mind him here or like around where he is. But yeah, we are seeing him falling. And part of the reason is because the coaches are coming out saying we'll have some snaps for him at wide receiver. We'll have some snaps at cornerback. And they're saying all the things that you don't want to hear. Like they're saying a lot of the stuff that you really don't want to hear. It means nothing right now, but it's definitely things that you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear if you're long Travis Hunter, the last thing you want to hear is we'll get him some snaps at wide receiver. You don't want to hear any of that. You want to hear this kid is our wide receiver. Somebody took Sticky Ricky at 1.1. And DK Main. Well, if you're in that and somebody's sounds like somebody's I don't even know who Sticky Ricky is. Like who the hell is Sticky Ricky? I don't know. 1 overall. Why do I not? I make up. I create nicknames. What is Sticky Ricky? The girlfriend situation. The dancing is not a red flag. Like whatever. But what's a red flag for me on a player like that is definitely yeah, the red flag for me is if they're not going to give him snaps, absolutely not. Yeah. Oh, somebody took 1-1. All right, so that I hadn't even heard that name before. I like it, but I will say that person is trolling. I don't understand why you would enter a DraftKings contest, pay money for it. You're paying money out of your pocket just to troll like that. Like that makes no sense. All of the starting running backs are now officially gone. Pacheco was who I was going to target with my next pick. He's gone. I already have 3, so I'm not gonna force it. I am going with my crazy thought that I'm going to own San Francisco passing game. It's something I've done quite a bit, and I don't mind it. Okay. If I could have gotten, what do you call him? If I could have gotten George Kittle and Ayuk, I would have done that too. We're coming back up on our next pick. Yeah, I'm not going to get Ayuk here. I'm not going to take him because I don't want him that bad. I don't mind these tight ends at all, but I think the running back group is no good. And I'm just going to go Steffi Diggs here just for Stephon Diggs is one of those players that basically, if he's healthy, I don't see what other scenario there is except for him being the WR1 for his team, especially early in his career. Andrew Nolan, will your draft get taken down because of that pick? Wait and see what the guy does with the rest of the draft. If he continues trolling like that, there is a chance that draft will not count. Yeah. Yeah, Laporta. Listen, Laporta's on the right team. I don't think they're going to outscore McBride. I don't think the targets are there for Laporta to approach. It wouldn't, in order for this to happen, Ray, I think that like just Bowers and McBride would have to massively disappoint in terms of how much volume they're getting compared to how much they got last year. That would be the thing that caused. I don't think that just naturally Laporta can outscore them because he's just not getting as many targets. Like he'll never. There's not that many targets. There's not as many targets to go around on Laporta's team. They score more touchdowns because they're awesome, but like the overall targets, Laporta's going to, he'll average 4 to 7 targets, like probably 4 to 6 most weeks. He'll get 7, 8 every once in a while. Whereas I think McBride and Bowers are going to average 8+ targets per game. So they could get there in terms of scoring eventually, but I don't think early. All right, let's see here. So we are, Purdy. UCF takes Purdy there. We don't need a lot of quarterback talent on this team. Cat is yelling in the background, making me crazy. We don't need as much quarterback. We're just trying to get through the weeks early. We got Joe Burrow. Don't have a stack. Don't need a stack. Guys like, what the hell? People who are just tuning in, they don't know what contest we're looking at. They're like, why the fuck is this guy not stacking? Why is he even doing streams if he doesn't know about stacking? Well, guess what? I don't need to stack. This is the Eliminator. This is a cash game. All right, so what's this question? Scatterboo spoken mirrors? I don't know. What I think is my experience in fantasy football tells me that a team like the Giants, who liked Tracy, who had Tyrone Tracy outperform and outplay other people, right? Last year, other people that they brought in to be a starter, and they played Tyrone Tracy. What that tells me is they like him. They're not going to not play him. So I think that Tyrone Tracy is there. And by the way, Ray, you're right on this point. I could definitely see either any of those tight ends getting more touchdowns than the other ones. So I think that's where I strongly agree with what you're saying, right? There's no doubt that Kittle or Laporta could wind up with more touchdowns than McBride and Bowers, because both McBride and Bowers have major warts in their situations. McBride is stuck with Kyler Murray, who just doesn't throw for a lot of touchdowns, and Bowers is stuck with the Raiders, who might suck as a team. We don't know. I don't know that they're going to suck. I think they'll be better this year than they've been, but they're not that good of a team. So maybe they don't score as often. But I do think the Raiders, like my guess with Bowers is Bowers actually has a better year because his quarterback play is going to be a lot better. Like it's still Brock Bowers, but now instead of AOC, Alexander Ocasio core crap, they have Geno Smith, who's good. Like they had Gardner Minshew. Love the guy, the Stache. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Gardner Minshew as much as the next guy. Cool dude. Want to hang out with him? Be friends in real life? Like if he wants to hang, I'll be like, okay, where are we going? He's like, we're getting crazy. We're going to the mud. You know, I feel like if Gardner Minshew called me up and want to hang out, it would be like, we're going mudding. And I'm like, what the fuck is mudding? And be like, we're taking our pickup trucks and we're going to go to muddy place and just drive in it. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm in. And then we'll go mudding. I've never been mudding, but I heard it's a thing. Anybody watching this, have you guys ever been mudding? Do you know what mudding is? Or wait, I got another one. Gardner Minshew calls up. He's like, wait, I forgot what it's called. What do you call it when you, yeah, Gardner would definitely hang out. He would definitely go to Dart Night. And by the way, Gardner would own Dart Night. He would show up and take all your money. That's what would happen. Gardner would come to Ray's Dart Night and take everybody's money. And you're like, dude, I thought you were a quarterback. He's like, same skill set. Whap, whap, whap. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Yeah, noodler. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Polak Hillbilly. Of course you knew the word. Of course, I was like, we'll go noodling with Gardner. Got a noodle. He definitely noodles. Noodler. A noodler, for those of you who don't know, and it is a great, great word. A noodler is somebody that goes and catches catfish with their hand. They take their hand in the mud and they jam it in there and they put it in the mouth of the catfish and they just rip out a catfish like on their arm. My friend invited Luke Kuechly at McCaffrey's wedding. You Rhode Island people, man. One girl from Rhode Island starts dating McCaffrey and everybody thinks they're besties with McCaffrey. That's what's going on in Rhode Island right now. Everybody's besties with McCaffrey. Like, when did this happen? Bare hand noodling? Polak Hillbilly, have you done noodling? I couldn't do it. No way. Have you done noodling? Stick your hand in? No. I don't stick my hand in anything. I'm not sticking my hand in anything. That's the redneck equivalent. Noodling is like the redneck equivalent of like in a city, just going to a glory hole. You don't know what you're going to get. You stick something in there. You just don't know what's coming out. Yeah, it's the fishing glory hole. In both cases, when you stick it in and when you pull it out, there's a good chance you've taken some injuries, possibly an infection. Got infected from noodling and from glory holing. It's the same thing. See, these Draft-a-Paloozas go off the rails. You think we're going to talk about fantasy football, and next thing it's noodling and glory holes. If you don't know what a glory hole is, you're lucky. Don't ask. Noodling is crazy, guys. Do you cook the fish? You guys, like, I don't know. It's so natural. I used to go clamming. Get some clams. Duck hunting. I got to get to the south. I live in the wrong place. Northeast. Ray, you too, man. Got to get out of Rhode Island. Go south. Do some noodling. Mudding with Gardner Minshew. Mudding is the most exciting of those things, of those options for me. All right, let's see where the hell we're at with this draft. I got Burrow and Herbert, kind of an acceptable pair. You have to have backups here because the bye weeks, right? So we got to spread these bye. This is a disaster. 14, 14, 14. So I made a terrible error in judgment. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really didn't consider that all those bye weeks would be at the same time for those wide receivers. So you can't really build around one team because you end up with a pile of bye weeks. A pile of bye weeks. I need more wide receivers. This is not acceptable. Let's go Tillman. No one likes Tillman because no one remembers what Tillman did in that short stretch last year. All right. The QBs are running out. The running backs are terrible at this point. That, you know, in this format, again, there is some benefit to the late surging running back, but it's, you know, for the most part, you got to get there. If you don't get there, you're not getting the benefit. I need to spread my wide receiver bye weeks around a little bit better in the future. So take note. What's Wandale's bye week? Oh, another week 14. Actually, I can't even take him because of that. Jesus. No. Tight end. Let's go tight end here. I was going to take Wandy, but week 14 bye. It's not going to help my squad. I need to do something different here. I need to really think this through. I mean, actually, I wouldn't mind getting to week 14. Then I'll worry about it, but yeah, it's tough. You really shouldn't stack because of the bye weeks. Now I'm seeing it. Like, this format is not going to be kind to anybody that stacks because of the bye week. You know, you learn. You live and you learn. All the wide receivers are gone. All the quarterbacks at this point that are starters are pretty much done. You guys, the run on QB was crazy here. So I don't know if that's a strategy that I'm not aware of, or it's just later in the draft and I wasn't paying attention. Did I hear that Ray already has 4 QBs? Is that what you guys said in the chat? Oh, shit. 4 QBs already. All right, Ray. Explain yourself. Why did you take so many damn QBs? You can only use one. Only one can score at a time. For me, at this point, I will be aggressively taking wide receivers for the last few picks. It's my only choice. Let's see what the draft is doing here. There goes Aaron Rodgers, the last of the starters. Getting some double tap tight ends. I love the taking lots of tight ends approach to best ball in general, especially later in the draft, though. I don't like to use those picks as early. I want to take them later. But from here, we basically just need to try to find any wide receivers that are kind of going to be on the field, lock button, right? As long as you're on the field, okay. Yeah, you get the pop week out of the 4. I listen, I get the approach. Jack Besh, not the best word out of camp about Jack Besh. He's dropping. But what else? What are you going to do? Right? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? So I can't take Damari Douglas. I don't need any more of these week 14 wide receiver buys. Not good. I kind of want to take Keenan Allen here. We'll go with Calvin Austin. Yep. I'm reaching down a little bit. Yeah. Remember, this is not a weekly winner, Ray. This is a marathon. You just got to get through the week. This is not weekly winners. We are in the Eliminator, which is different. The Eliminator eliminates half of the field every single week. So in this format, in my mind, you just really want to build the most, let's call it, well-balanced team that you could possibly come up with. It just should be balanced, right? You don't want to have holes. You want to get through the week. Just get me through the week. I'll be happy. I'll move on to next week. Just get me through the week, which is, I kind of like the double QBs for that. I was going to take Keenan Allen. I kind of like the multiple QBs for that. Like, you can get one pop for a good score. Same thing with tight ends. If you can just catch the right tight end on the right day to get you through the week, catches the touchdown, okay, fine. I think you can go almost fewer with the running backs in this format, but not really. You also have to pay attention to those bye weeks. Like I've been in this one and I accidentally took my first two running backs had the same bye week. And I'm like, oh shit, when I hit that week, I'm going to be fucked. All these guys are going to be on bye. And by the way, the flip side works potentially in our favor. There will be weeks, if you work the bye weeks, like those big bye weeks, the week 14, especially a lot of buys that week. If we work it right, if you get to that week, maybe your opponent has a buys and you get like a dead opponent and you can make it past the week just as a gift. Like, how happy would you be if you see my team here and you're like, oh, look, 3 of his wide receivers are on bye and we get him in week 14. Thanks, sucker. You know what I mean? Like, you're feeling good. So that will happen in reverse, I think, in this contest, where you will just be matched up with someone. If you make it past the weeks, the key is make it past the weeks. Just keep making it past the weeks. Every week you get through, you kind of like get another shot at this. And that's all. That's really all you can ask for. Get past the week. Get past another week and another week. You get to week 14, right? You're like, oh, I'm already winning thousands of dollars. I can win thousands more. All right, so I just did something. I just want to point out what I did here. I got Besh and Dante Thornton. Now, the reason I did another 2 from the same team is very much the reasoning that I talked about before, but the opposite. If I'm wrong about one of those 2, should be at least the WR2 for their team. So I got them both. YOLO. Blue Moon number 3 already. Nice. Nice. There's nothing like Blue Moon, guys. Yeah, there is. Listen, everybody teach their own, actually. I'm not going to say anything. I love Blue Moon, but like, most beer is good. You know what I don't like? I don't like IPAs at all. I know I'm not into that. I'm not into the IPAs. No Indian Pale Ale for your boy. Not into it. Sorry. Higbee. Nope. I'm going another wide receiver just to get ridiculous. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to point out my final team here. I got Burrow and Herbert. I don't love, I wouldn't have minded the third quarterback, but Razor took them all. Didn't leave anything. I got Thornton from someone. Dante Thornton. Yeah, I took Thornton from you. Listen, I'll try anything, but I'm going to tell you my general feeling is I don't like the IPAs. I just don't like them. I've never had one where I was like, yeah, I really like that. I was like, meh, I like her. I just don't like them. It's too fancy. Plus, I feel like a fancy boy ordering one. Like, oh, let me get the Indian Pale Ale. I'm like, no, bro. Fucking give me some champagne of beers. Miller Genuine Draft. That's what's up. Little Blue Moon. Slice of orange on that shit. All right, guys. I have a... we're going to do another one here. We'll do a little review. Let's review this draft for everybody. Eliminator. We'll do another one, of course. But while you're thinking about it, did I ever pose this question? I don't know if I ever posed this question to the chat. But my posed question for the chat... Actually, I have some fantasy football stuff too, but since we're talking about IPAs and beer, when you go out and you're at an open bar, you're at a place, the bar is open, you can order whatever you want, okay? You can order whatever you want. What is your go-to drink? Again, open bar. What's your go-to drink? Let me know in the chat. Like, are you getting a mule, an old fashioned? You going straight bourbon on the rocks? What are you ordering? I see a lot of people that go to the bar. The Eliminator, here it is. Okay, let's see what we just did. They go to the bar. What are you ordering? Everybody's got their drink of choice. A little Tanqueray and tonic, TNT. Curious. All right. Paloma. See, there you go. I don't know what that is. Paloma. Manhattan or old fashioned? A whiskey, man. Gin and tonic. Bro, vodka cranberry. Unacceptable. But gin and tonic, that's a big one for me. It's a big one. Some people like a dirty martini with the olives. Old fashioned. A lot of old fashions. Tequila and grapefruit juice sounds good. Pineapple and Azul or Corona. This one, I don't even know what this is. So, Underdog just dropped more contests. Oh, let's go. UCF, what did they drop? All right, let's do a quick rundown of everybody's draft, though. I'll do this quick rundown. We'll do it quick. The rundowns almost take as long as a draft. If you guys want me to keep doing these or not, actually let me know, because this does take up like some time, but it's fun to kind of, I'm trying to do them quick as possible, right? So this is not a stacking format, and I can't see bye weeks in the rundown. So I'm not able to see it. I can't really discuss it. Ray, good start here. 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is another one. Dude, don't sleep on Kyren Williams this year. Don't sleep on Kyren Williams. Everybody thinks he's being replaced. He's not being replaced. James Cook there, Kenny Walker, I like that. B-Rob, Ramondre, a little Razor special. 4-pack in a row of QBs. So I think the thought here, Ray, I didn't realize you did it this late. I'm assuming the thought here was I waited, so let me get a bunch of these turds. I was talking about Travis Hunter before, and there are some rumors that like the coach speak I didn't love was coming out with it, kind of like, oh, we're going to get him snaps at wide receiver. We're going to get him snaps at quarterback. We're a cornerback. Like, I'm not hearing the words that I want to hear from the coaching staff. It's that simple. I'm not hearing what I want to hear about Travis. And what I want to hear is, this is a wide receiver first. We'll put him out there at cornerback a little bit, but he is here to be our stud wide receiver. If I'm hearing that, I'm feeling a lot better than what I'm hearing is not that. It's, we're going to get him snaps here. We're going to get him snaps there. And I don't like it. Underdog just opened new ones. All right. So tell me in the chat what they just opened. New stuff. Oh, okay. Single entry Corgi. Okay. A pit bull, a poodle. We got all kinds of puppies. All right. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll take a look. But Razor, I see what you did here. You kind of waited on QB, so you just went crazy with them. I like that approach. And then crazy with tight ends late. So basically, Ray said, I'm going to get all my positions done early, and then we're going to go bananas on tight ends and running and QBs late. I think that's a smart way to do this, and I think this feels like a team that's going to advance. Right? UCF in here. Great start with Barkley and Chase Brown. Can't go wrong. Josh Allen, George Kittle. Okay. Right? First wide receivers, Sutton, Judy, Ayuk. Not in love with the wide receiver group, but I get it. Caleb Johnson in there, touchdown scorer. Nothing wrong with that. Had to go heavy wide receiver in the second half here to make up for it. I think overall this is a good draft. I don't know if I like Brashard Smith there at the end, but overall this draft looks pretty solid with those 2 anchor running backs and Caleb Johnson. I would have rather seen, I don't know, one more kind of good running back, but you can't have everything. Soups, Jefferson, McConkey. So this is what it looks like when you start double tap wide receivers. Harrison in there, triple tap. Hall, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Judkins. So you had to go heavy running backs after, the initial start with those studly wide receivers. That's fine. A couple of decent QBs in there. Some tight ends late. Wandale, more wide receivers to make up for the slow start. Daylove Brandon says Ayuk is going to be the guy that listen, Could be. Could be. I saw Ayuk not being good last year before he got hurt, though. So explain that one. Not to say that it can't be. I'm just saying, like, why did he suck before he got hurt? Why? Why did he suck? I don't know. Is it bad that I got Najee? No, I think that's an acceptable place. I don't like Najee. I don't have any shares of him this year, except for like an auto-drafted share or two. Let's see. Fling is in here. We just did Soups. Fling is in here. Early pick of McCaffrey. I mean, I feel like my pushing relentlessly for early running backs is affecting these drafts a bit. McCaffrey, London, JSN, Mixon, Calvin Ridley. I like every single player. RJ Harvey, probably at the right place there at pick 67 after Trevion Henderson. Yeah, I would say that's about right for him. K-Shack and Downs, touchdown scoring guys. We got Fields and Drake May. More Denver pieces because it's Fling and he must draft all Denver players. Freiermuth, Kate Otten. This looks fine. Juwan Johnson, Giammi Brown. I like that pick. 4 straight out of South Carolina. What's up? Yeah. Classic Fact 74. Still, I love these wide receivers, but man, we got to do some work at running back. Irving, Montgomery, great wide receivers. Lamb, Wilson, and DJ Moore. Love them. Love Jacoby Myers. There's Pacheco. Baker at a good point. Kelsey, I like it. Right? Like that. So a little bit soft at running back in favor of some of the other groups. But I think you did okay with Pacheco, Montgomery, and Irving as well. I think they're all started. This might be a really great team, Fact 74. I don't mind it at all. I think it might be really, really good. We'll get to my draft. I started with Puka. No running backs left. Went Taylor, Chuba, Omari, and a pretty common trio for me. I have a lot of shares of those guys. Joe Burrow, and then we started hammering wide receivers with Pearsall, Jennings, and Steph Diggs. Realized later on that those three all have a bye week on week 14, which is fine. Get me to week 14. By the way, if I get to week 14, I get knocked out with this team. Okay. All right, I'll take my $1,000. Like, it's all right. And then from there, Javonte, my fourth starting running back. You know, I have Javonte in every league. We double tap Andrews, Warren, and then add in Hunter Henry for the trio of decent tight ends. Hopefully enough to give me one good tight end's worth of production. And in Herbert, Tillman started just taking crazy wide receivers. Have I ever won underdog? No, I've never won a tournament. I've not won any tournaments on underdog best ball. I haven't played that much. It's sketchily on and off in New York, but again, this is the year that I'm doing it. In order for me to play a lot, part of the reason I'm doing Draft-a-Palooza, I like hanging out. I love talking football. I like keeping it fresh in the mind. This is not a revenue generator. I'm not selling anything here. I've got nothing for sale. I don't want code DFS Army for underdog. If you're watching this and you don't have an underdog account, I don't know what the fuck what are you doing here? Right? So like, I don't have anything to sell. I'm just hanging out. But this helps me draft my teams. And it gets my mind in the state of mind for best ball, but it also helps me discipline myself to drafting enough teams that I can give myself a real shot at winning something. So that's a big reason why I'm doing this. And I think a lot of you guys that are hanging out, it's the same thing. Like, hey, fuck it. We draft a couple teams every day, or most days over the course of the summer. And then, all of a sudden September rolls around, we're focused on DFS, everything else are season long, but we've got 100, 200 teams drafted. Give ourselves a real shot during the season of something to watch, of something to enjoy. That's kind of why I'm doing this. All right. So you guys said a bunch of new contests just opened up. Let's see. All right. So we still got BBM at the front. We got the sprint. There's the marathon. Yeah. It gets your head ready for everything. It gets you focused on football in the summer season. Eliminator. That's what we just did. All right. So we got the poodle. Is this a new one? Let's do the poodle, guys. Okay. The corgi. What's this? Single entry. Interesting, right? I like the single entry or a 20 entry max. This kind of like calms it down with the best ball bros going nuts on these things, I guess. The pit bull. The Pitbull. 10 entry max, $20 entry. Yeah, I like it. 500K in prizes. I definitely like that. I like these. Okay. All right, let's do one of these new ones, guys. How about the Poodle? 20 entry max. Let me check the rules. It looks like, yeah, this is the standard format. Qualifiers until week 14, then the quarterfinal, semifinal. So the Poodle is the same style contest as, you know, all the other puppies. This is your basic average underdog contest. Make it to the playoffs and then get by for the 3 weeks. Last season, if you didn't have Jonathan Taylor, you were fucked. The dude went bananas the last 5-6 weeks of the season, carried teams all the way through. You got to have the right guy. You got to first make the playoffs and then have the right guy in there to carry you to a champion. In years past, it's been Mike Evans, 40-point game during the playoffs. Bam, you're done. If you didn't have him, you're done. Jonathan Taylor did it. Explain what this is. Good advanced rooms too. 1 out of 6 and 1-5 with the 3-10 person final. Round advancement. 2 for 12, 1 of 6, 1 of 5. Okay. So in order to advance, you got to be top 2 in your 12 person. And then you get a 6 person and a 5 person. All right. I like that. So you get a little higher odds of making it to the 310 seat final for that big run. So let's give it a shot. $7 entry, 20 seconds per pick. This is the Poodle. We're in the Poodle. Lots of spots open. You guys jump in there with me. So lots of spots open. It's filling. The Poodle. 2 out of 12 in this draft. We'll get to the playoffs. And then from there, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5. Bam. Yeah, there it is. Ray, that's what's up. Like, you just have to luck in a lot of ways. So I don't want to use the word luck. I think you make your own luck, right? Fine. But think about fantasy football, season long. You play your whole season out. You're the number 1 team. You have the most points. But just like last year, this happened to me. By far the most points. By far, crushing it. And then, you know, you get stuck with that week where Josh Allen carried you there alongside Saquon Barkley. Those two just carried your team all the way to the playoffs. And then in week 15, Josh Allen has a dud and puts up an 8. They didn't need him. They ran it. Or Saquon Barkley has a dud and gets you a 7.5. And you look up and you're like, holy shit, I'm so much better than this opponent. I was 25 points ahead of him in the pregame estimates. And I just lost. And now that's it. That was one and done, and I'm gone. And we tend to remember, oh, I'm up first. Okay, well, Saquon, welcome to my team. Welcome to my team. Now, we are no longer in the format that we should not stack in. So in this format, we can stack. Now, all right, so just understanding this, week 15, you're in the play. Week 14, you do have to pay attention to bye weeks because it's a cumulative score as far as what gets you in the playoffs. But after that, having correlation, having stacks is king. So we want to start off with just get there, but we want to pay attention to correlation and just avoid an overstack of bye weeks because you don't want a week where you don't want to get zeros the whole time because it's a cumulative score. We don't want to get zeros. Actually, is it a cumulative score or are you winning week to week on this thing? Now it's cumulative. Well, it's week to week in the playoffs. All right. Guys who've played, Ray, I'm gonna pose this question for you. The regular season, is it just total points or is there a win-loss record that determines things? Or is it some combination of win-loss? I think it's a combination of win-loss and points. But I can't remember exactly how Underdog does it. All right, let's see how this draft is going along. Again, Underdog, we are in the puppy or the poodle from Underdog. The new contest, 20 entry max. We like it because you can only get in there 20 times. Fungool69 is in here with us. Bob Fungool. I feel like Fungool, we've seen him before. I'm assuming this is somebody who's in the draft with us now, who's in the channel with us. So Fungool, I believe you are here with us. Soups, of course. Razor's in there. It's just points in the pod? All right. It's just points. It's not win-loss record. So effectively, within this pod, this group, we're all in it together. Not all, but it looks like Fact74 is in here. Razor, Fungool, whoever you are, is in here with us. I feel like you're here. And also Soups. And UCF Jaguar, of course. And Ivan Drago. So, yeah, we got a nice group in here. There. Oh, Polak. Okay. How come I keep forgetting what you are? Do you change your name? Oh, it's DraftKings versus FanDuel. It's different. Yeah, that's messing me up. It's messing me up. Fungool is the Italian Polak hillbilly. All right, so just some observations. Bucky, Devon Achane, that's about as late as you see him go. Going after Bucky and Taylor is surprisingly late. Soup's got a nice pick there. So Fact74, great. I mean, Bijan and Achane, are you kidding me? It's a great start. Really? You get Bijan and Achane? Like that start? That's bananas. Too good. T. Higgins. Ivan just remembering that T. Higgins run that carried people to the playoffs years ago, but not really building a stack here, but more blocking UCF from putting that stack together. Let's go Chabro. As much as I might want to get Trey McBride, I'm not doing it. I just see too much. I see too much potential in the pile of late tight ends to really concern myself too much with taking early tight ends. Right? Higgins has a better year than Chase. Dude, that is a bold call. You know how that happens? There is a version of that happening, but Chase gets hurt. That's how that happens. Chase gets injured. Remember that, guys, Chase and Burrow and Higgins are all kind of high injury players. All three of Chase, Higgins, and Burrow have, I think, an unusually frequently high number of injuries that they have. The three of them on the field simultaneous is almost rare. They've been hurt a lot. So one of them probably getting hurt. Razor with a good Kyron Williams pick late in round 2. What is the reason that Rashee Rice is moving up? Is just his health, and so we're going to move him up. Is that what's going on, UCF? Like, I did notice he's kind of climbing a little bit. Is it because there was some? I never had any concerns about his health, but it looks like the health concerns are why he might be moving up a little bit. Like, he's healthy, we like him, blah blah blah, this or that. Healthy and his start from last year. But yeah, I mean, that shouldn't affect anything. Last year, they didn't have Xavier Worthy as a real player. They had him on the team, but they didn't have Xavier Worthy as like true competition. And I think that makes a difference. I think they can all do well, though. I think the person who benefits the most, we might see a resurgent year from Mahomes. You know, people forget after so the last 2 seasons, Mahomes was like QB 11, QB 12, nothing good, right? If you took him early, you were disappointed. 2 years in a row. But before that, Mahomes was generally QB1, QB3. Like, he was a top 3 quarterback from fantasy production up until 2 seasons ago, where the Chiefs started playing defense, and all of a sudden, Mahomes just wasn't doing that much during the regular season. But we see it in the playoffs. He comes out, and you see the real guy, and so it's like, what, you know, what's up with that? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it's been with Mahomes. Let me just take a look and see if there's any. Yeah. All right. This is interesting. I'm going to take my stud quarterback here, I think. And then we'll get our first wide receiver. I'm going to go with DK Metcalf over Jammo. Yeah. Because I don't need to stack DK Metcalf. But what I did was, the reason I took Jalen Hurts was primarily because even in this format, he doesn't need to be stacked. So if you wanted to have this format, but not have to worry as much about building a ton of correlation, you just got like build a good team. You can do it with Hurts. Hurts is a 25 points per game guy. Hurts is a win you the week quarterback on occasion, and that's what I'm looking for. I want those points. I want those cumulative points over the course of the season. Yeah, DK has a lot of potential. They don't have anybody else to throw to. And yeah, Hurts Saquon, baby. You know what? What happens in a competitive game? Both for the Eagles, both those guys are going to shine. And I think the price for AJ Brown, even in a stack with Hurts, is so expensive, considering how AJ Brown will let you down on the bad weeks, that I'd rather play him naked. And as a matter of fact, I would say that in season, in DFS, when we do the back test from last year, which will start like in probably beginning of August, right? We'll let July go, and then we're going to start doing back testing streams where we just go back and rerun and relive pretty much the entirety of the 2024 season. We're going to relive it, use the optimizer, try to figure out the best settings. We're going to train our minds, our bodies, and our souls on how to win GPP tournaments, right? We're going to do that training right here on GFS Army YouTube channel. You guys want to join me for those? Those are night streams. I'm going to smoke a little bit. Can't just do that stream. You got to get in the right state of mind for those. A little vape action. But we're going to relive the entirety of the 2024 season. And you'll see most of the time, you didn't need to stack. Like when Hurts was the nuts, and it wasn't that often, I don't recall Hurts being like the nuts play. He was good, but I really don't remember. But a lot of the times you didn't need to stack him. I know with Josh Allen is the most, I don't think, like, stacking him was almost never good. You always wanted to not stack Josh Allen. Just play him naked. When he had his monster games, he did it almost all with his legs. Like, Josh Allen would have a monster game, and none of the pass catchers would have that special of a game. It's crazy last year how that worked. All right, let's see what's going on in this draft here. All right, so QBs, still a lot of good ones, still floating around. So they're lasting well into round 6. Burrow still there. ADP well above his ADP is 59. There he goes. So he went a few picks beyond ADP. Right, we're at pick number 68. No more QBs relevant. James Conner should be next on the list at running back. Wide receiver group. You know, Juwan and Ricky hanging out, and then Hawkinson there. Jerry Judy's there. Jacoby Myers is floating around. There goes Connor. Using ADP as a guide for what we're doing is really critical. I end up with Ricky Pearsall in most of my drafts, and I kind of don't mind doing this thing. Yep. Doing it again. That's the second draft in a row that I've done that. And I have a thought for the next round if it works out. We'll see. But I've got my three strong running backs. I'm not worried with this group. That's as good as it gets. I've got a stud quarterback here in Jalen Hurts. And now I've got DK Metcalf and a nice little San Francisco stack of wide receivers. Now, it's going to be a while till I pick again. That's probably the negative of picking at the edge, at the end unit. It's hard to plan. You don't know what's going to be there on your next round, but I don't want to say anything, but I do have a thought of who might be there. And if they are, I'm going to be pretty happy. Matthew Golden, ADP now ahead of Jaden Reed. It's right there. Interesting. I find it interesting, right? Just interesting. I don't know what to tell you. It's interesting. Jaden Reed, last year going into the season, just a reminder, last year going into the season, you were taking Jaden Reed in round 4. 3, maybe round 4. Now you see him in round 7 and you kind of, I don't want him. So, oh, how the mighty hath fallen with Jaden Reed. Even the rookie, who we don't know what the fuck he's going to do or if he's going to play or anything, is going ahead of Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed was a decent best ball piece because he gave you a couple good weeks last year, but wildly inconsistent. Can I open up there? You know what's annoying? I like that DraftKings allows you to see the you can. Oh, there it is. In fact, that's what's up. We do a lot of teaching here in DFS Army Fact 74. Like, we're really big into, at DFS Army, we don't just throw our members like, hey, here's this awesome tool, the Domination Station Optimizer, all the shit, research stations and all of that. And hey, figure it out on your own, like what most sites do. What we try to do is really learn and teach together, teach the approaches. What is the right way to program this optimizer for maximum results? We do back testing where we'll just stream it together, try different options, try different settings. A lot of it's just we just have a different method. There goes Ayuk. So little Maxo. I was hoping to get Ayuk in there and try to get this super stack going, but it did not work out. So what are you going to do? Yeah, I think Reed's fine here, by the way. I don't have any problem. I didn't say he's a bad pick now or this year, but Ray, last year, you had to pay third round price you had to pay a round 3 price for that guy. And you know what? That was a disaster for whoever did it. All right, I'm taking Brock Purdy. I got to complete my stack. Okay, now we got the stack. I was hoping to take Ayuk with the second pick, if I'm keeping it real. Let's see what's going on here. Get a quality. I feel like running back is dead. I'm going to go with Igbuga, just somebody I like. I just like Igbuga. I think Igbuga is that player that will benefit the most from the fact that the Tampa Bay veterans are old as shit and coming in injured. And by that, I mean Godwin coming off a major, I think it was an ankle, but a significant injury last year. Will he be ready for the start of the season? We'll find out. I like Godwin if he's ready, but we don't know for sure yet. But also Mike Evans, oft injured. Now, none of this might come to fruition. They might just play out and be fine. But if either one of them gets knocked out, I think there could be big results for Igbuga coming in and kind of doing his thing. I'm just looking at bye weeks. Hurts at week 9, Purdy week 14. This combo at QB is actually enough QB power to power me through. This is very late for Mayfield. Actually, what I'm seeing here with Mayfield going in round 9 is I think the merit for waiting on QB is very, very much there. Where the fuck did Fields go? Fields went ahead of Baker? That's crazy. Goff and Fields ahead of Baker Mayfield. That's just ridiculous. Even Brock Purdy ahead of Baker is a little ridiculous, but this was that is ridiculous. We let Mayfield go way too long. But I am seeing the wait on QB that's starting to happen now on Underdog is real, and I think is good. It's good and healthy. UCF got the auto pick of Jared Goff. Is that what happened? Yeah, I mean, I can make an argument for Purdy over Mayfield, I guess, but like, yeah. And this is more what I would agree with Ray. I like Reed now in round 9 or 8 or 10, fine, because the guy puts up a big game every once in a while. He's got a lot of yak, but I don't like, round 4, if you took him last year, he ruined your fantasy team. It's also best ball. I don't like Reed at all in regular fantasy. He was a team ruiner last year. You know what ruins your season long team? Let me take you guys on a season long journey with me. Doing season long a long time. You take a player in round 4 and he stinks all year, but because you took him in round 4, you feel like you need to leave him in your starting lineup. And make it worse, when you finally take him out, he has the pop game. And then you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have taken him out. And then you put him back in and he gives you 3 more crap games. There's nothing worse than a player like that. They are team killers. You don't have the weeks to lose in season long. I could do that in best ball. Somebody else is going to step up and take his place. In season long, where you have to choose starters, yeah, Kyle Pitts was a team ruiner, if that's what you're talking about. These are the guys that ruined your season long team. They ruined it. And you feel like because they have a name or because you spent draft capital to get them, you feel like, man, I need to play him. But they ruin your team. Yeah, they're team ruiners, and that's exactly what Jaden Reed was last year. Pretty much all of the Packers wide receivers were kind of like ruinous to your team. So how do you make up for it? How do you avoid it? How do you get away from team ruiners? You know who could be a team ruiner this year? Travis Hunter. Like that guy in round 4 or 5. I'll take him in best ball, but do you really want something like that on your roster in season long, just in case he becomes a 4-target, 5-target per game, 30 snaps wide receiver? That's not going to work out. But yet you feel he's got to keep starting him because you took him in round 4. He's supposed to be a stud. So you got to be careful. In season long, best ball is different. We can take our chances. Best ball, take a shot. I got somebody to step up for him later on. It's fine. I'll take my chance on the upside in best ball because I have somebody else to step in. Yeah, maybe he is. By the way, maybe he is. I don't know. I'm not predicting anything with Travis Hunter. I'm just saying, like, there is risk there that he's not the next big thing. And as a matter of fact, there's risk there that he's a terrible 4th round pick, right? If he's only getting 4 or 5 targets, he's Jaden Reed 2.0. There's risk there. Now, that being said, I love what the Jaguars are doing on offense. I love the coach. I want to believe that the Jaguars are going to have a Tampa Bay-like turnaround for their team. I like the coach, Liam Cohen. He's from Rhode Island. That's what's up. Rhode Island people, crazy. Got a witch wife from Rhode Island, too. You don't know. Liam Cohen, right? I like what they're doing, but are they going to try to make him a cornerback? Is it a hybrid? I'll give you guys an example from years ago. I'm trying to remember the name, but it was a 1st-round wide receiver that was like a little scat-backy guy, a little fast, and it was exciting, but also sketchy. And he ended up fucking everyone. He was on Dallas. Tell me if you guys can remember, it was a 1st-round wide receiver that Dallas took, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Little guy. They were super excited to take him, like pick 16 overall. Never did anything. Got special teams, occasional, like kind of like that Elijah Moore took a pass near the line of scrimmage and tried to run with it. I cannot remember the guy's name. I think it started with a T. But he could be one of those kind of players, like a player that the team takes and they're going to try to find. And the guy stuck around for a whole career. Like the dude I'm thinking of, he had an 8 or 9 year career, but it was like returning punts. It was the occasional pass behind the line of scrimmage. That, right? You didn't get a stud fantasy football player even though he was a useful guy for his team. Got one tight end, only 3 running backs. I'm going to go with Garendo. We'll back up just in case. Right? Leggett for the step forward. No. You take a second tight end here. Loveland. Fuck it. Right? We'll just take our second tight end. So we got, right now I'm sitting on 2 stud quarterbacks. Fine by me. I've got 3 stud running backs and a backup. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All pretty good wide receivers. Certainly the top 3 look decent. My wide receivers probably overall a little soft. And 2 fairly early tight ends. Yeah, Tavon Austin. That's the guy, right? Tavon. First round pick. Stuck around. He had a whole career, but was never fantasy viable. Could that be Travis Hunter? He was the Rams. Was he the Rams? But he made it. He was on Dallas at some point. So he made his way to Dallas. So I was wrong. But he made his way to Dallas, right? Like, either way, they had these ideas for him that never came to. He was drafted by the Rams. I could have sworn it was Dallas. But they had these ideas for him that he was going to do all this shit. And he ended up being a useful player for his team, but not a fantasy asset. And I don't want useful players. This is fantasy football. We don't care if you're useful to your team. We want fantasy studs. And so, again, I don't know that that's what's going to be with Travis Hunter. I have no idea. I have no clue. Absolutely none. Zero. I'm hearing things from the coaching staff that I don't love, but at the same time, I know the kid's athleticism is off the charts, like maybe one of the best we've ever seen. So I think there's a wide, there's a bell curve distribution of outcomes for Travis Hunter, right? Bell curve. We got the curve. We got the center line. And then, at the good side of the curve, he becomes a great fantasy football asset, has a Tyreek Hill style career. Monster, can't be stopped. Odell Beckham at his best. But the bottom side of the curve is Tavon Austin. Just a gadget player, plays some cornerback, gets in there for some snaps. Brian Thomas Jr. remains the focal point. It could go anyway. So what do you do in our situation? What you do is you take him in BestBall because who cares? Like I said, it's BestBall. Fuck it. I'm only playing for the upside. But in season long, you have to be careful with a guy like that. Very careful. All right, we're coming up on the pick. Let's see here. I don't need quarterbacks. Running back group is very, very thin at this point. I wouldn't mind Shipley. Oh, I got my guy Wandale. Gotta take Wandale. Whenever Wandale is there, he's going to be on my squad. Tight end group, Zach Ertz, Gesicki. I've got 2 good ones. Don't want to keep going there. We're at pick 14. Okay, so I'm just going to go and take Will Shipley, backing up my Saquon Barkley pick. I feel like in this format, it's probably better not to do handcuffs. It's better to take like somebody else's handcuff, but I did it. Where do Flacco and Jameis? Man, how cool would it be? Calvin Austin, I feel like it will be available. Yeah, on the next round, maybe. Probably should have taken Calvin. I have a lot of Calvin Austin. He's one of my guys. They love Brandon. So where to Flacco? Jameis. So Jameis. All right. It would be. Listen, you guys. If we find out that Jameis gets traded, you want to tune into the Draft-a-Palooza for what we're going to do. Love Jameis. If Jameis somehow made it to the Saints, oh, what a glorious and fun season we will have. Loading up on Jamo. Loading up on Shaheed, Olave, even Juwan Johnson. I would be obsessed with Jamo on the Saints. Obsessed with it. Would love that. As a matter of fact, I would move those guys up. I'd be drafting them aggressively. But, will it happen? I don't know. Flacco, will he start for the Browns this year? I don't know. If you were the Browns, would you start Flacco? Why? I don't know. I don't understand how the Saints are just going into the season without a quarterback. And the Browns are really doing that too. I just think it's weird, especially with quarterbacks available. Now, I'm not saying good quarterbacks are available or the quarterback for those teams are available. Yeah, Flacco's far and away the best quarterback on the Browns. Yeah, I would agree. But, Flacco needs a good... I think he'd do fine on the Browns. And I think their offense would be okay. Weirdly as it sounds. I mean, Flacco's he's in his 40s at this point. But Jamo, I don't understand why you would just go in. Kirk Cousins is also readily available. Like, there are quarterbacks that could helm a team that are not bad. That I think these guys will find a job over the course of the year. Like, is Kirk Cousins, are they just going to keep paying Kirk Cousins to do nothing on the Falcons? At some point, I think somebody will call and the Falcons will absorb some of the salary and send him away and just be like, all right, pick it up. Let me see how many picks we have left. We are round 16. So we've got 1, 2, and then a final pick. I've got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, got a bunch of wide receivers. So we can go wide receiver here. Nothing good. Go tight ends. Decent ones. Running back. Nothing good. Wide receiver. Nothing good. Somebody took Calvin Austin. All right. Let's get our tight end here. Jatavian Sanders. That's my third guy. Again, back to wide receivers. I'm not going to take Thornton again, I don't think. RB. No. Maybe I'll just do Thornton. No, Lockett this time. I like Lockett. I've been taking some shares of Lockett just because Tennessee doesn't really have anybody else. So I think, maybe Lockett will have that little Adam Thielen style early season run. Were there any quarterbacks left when I did that? Yeah, kind of. Could have probably taken Daniel Jones, I guess. I don't need him. I think Hurts and Purdy are enough. Carry me a whole season with those two. Do we have enough at wide receiver? Metcalf, San Francisco stack, Egbuka, Brown, Wandale, Lockett. I mean, could be getting some crapo scores from that group, but you might have, might have some good weeks. Wouldn't mind getting one more in there. Yeah. No, I feel like Darth Pasta, I have this thought that Aaron Rodgers will never win you a week as your quarterback. Like, no matter what happens, I think Aaron Rodgers' best game is like a 17 this year. Like, he's never going to help you win. I don't think he'll ever outscore whichever of Hurts. I could see a whole season going on where Aaron Rodgers never outscores the pair of Hurts and Purdy. A whole season never happens. Even on the bye weeks. I could see that. It could be wrong. I think it's just, but it's fine. Yeah, I get it. I'd probably, like, looking at quarterbacks available, I'd actually rather dice roll. I think what you could do here, if I really felt like, oh, I need one more quarterback. Let's say it gets to me at the end and I need one more quarterback. I'm just going to throw this out there. You got Jones, Rodgers, Richardson, Shio, and Dart, and Russell Wilson. All these guys are still like starting quarterbacks. And then you have Flacco and Jamo hanging out down at the bottom that might come in later. Slayton or Troy Franklin. Ooh, I like that. Slayton is an interesting pick. Slayton's an interesting guy. Jay Crosby Merritt. Who the fuck is that? Running back, Washington. Krosky Merritt. Marshawn Lloyd goes. Razor takes Marshawn Lloyd. I don't hate it. Backup running back. Ben Sinnott. Okay, interesting. These are upside picks from some of these guys really late. Okay. Left the extra quarter. So what I was going to say is I can see Jackson Dart starting for the Giants by week 7. That might be an interesting like backup quarterback type situation. D Slizzles. The best thing I could do here is get a wide receiver that might get a touchdown every once in a while. You guys think Amari Cooper is going to get a job? I say no. A young Kamara type. Okay. Well, let's start paying attention to Jay Krosky Merritt. I'm going to take Slayton with the last pick. Somebody mentioned, whoever mentioned him in the chat, good mention. I'm going for it. It's weird when you take that last pick. It's like telling me it's not my turn to draft. I don't know. I think it's weird on the last pick. All right. Quick review. We got a lot of people in this pod together, guys. We are in for a season together. McCloskey, that McCloskey guy, what's his size? Jay Krosky Merritt. Hang on. If you want to know where I go to research a player. Let's see what the story is with Jacory. 5'10", 206 pounds. Decent speed. Nothing great, nothing crazy. Very little information. Wow, these guys dropped the ball on this dude. I don't even know what round he was taken. Where's the info? I can't even tell what pick he was. What pick was he? Oh, draft pick. 7th round. One of the last picks in round 7. Dude. No. All right. I mean, I guess, right? He won MVP. Interesting. Some interesting. So for me, what I'm taking out of this information is I can go to my dynasty teams and this guy's probably available on waivers. Maybe slap him in my taxi squad. Do I think he's going to be relevant? Unlikely. But it's free, so who cares? Right? It's free. It's a free pick, so who cares? All right, so let's do a quick rundown of this draft, our second draft of the day. Guys, I'm also going to ask you guys a question. You know, I've been doing these midday, but it's starting to get nice out, and I'm kind of the mind to shift the timing to like 5 or 6 p.m., like, you know, after work. Let me know what you think about it, or maybe I'll start to stagger them a little bit. But I like this crew. I like everybody hanging out all the time, so I don't want to like mess with the little kind of what we have going on here. But are you guys open to like a later version of this? Because you know, it's daytime. I'm gonna start golfing and shit. It's summer. I wanna do some golfing, and so we'll see if maybe we shift these a little later in the day. Can everybody hang out? Can you hang out if it's a 5 o'clock start? Let me know. Maybe more people will find their way to these streams. All right, Chief ST, my team, triple stack of studs. Barkley, Brown, Jacobs. This group is going to lead us all season long. Jalen Hurts in there, get me 25 points per game. And then we go wide receiver trio of DK Metcalf and pretty much lock down San Francisco. I would have taken Purdy and Ayuk. Ayuk made it to me, but Little Max fucked me with, I think he took Ayuk too soon, but this would have been a spectacular stack if we got Ayuk there. Spectacular. Igbuga, Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown has a lot of upside this year, guys. I like Hollywood Brown. Pat Mahomes, we didn't see him. This was a first-round pick who was a very, very good player up until he got hurt last year. This is another reason why I think people are overdrafting Rashee Rice and Xavier Legette, because I think if Hollywood Brown stays healthy this year, now the Chiefs have 3 pretty good wide receivers to spread the football around, and Mahomes is going to spread it around. He does not like to throw it to one guy. So I'm just giving you a warning. This might be that guy that fucks your dreams of 12 targets for Rashee Rice each week. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Start loading up on tight ends here with Jonnu Smith, Colston Loveland, Jatavian Sanders. I think that trio should get me decent enough scores. Maybe, maybe not. Probably could have taken another one at the end, actually. Hindsight, maybe should have. The later you start taking your tight ends, I believe, the more of them you want on your team. Got Wandale, Tyler Lockett, a couple of upside plays. The later I start taking tight ends, the more of them I want. And actually, this late, Jonnu Smith, round 11, round 13 with Loveland. It's not that late, but still, probably could have used one more. UCF starts strong with wide receivers, including Travis Hunter. We had a lot of talk. He's a Jaguar fan. His name is Jaguar. I'm assuming UCF Jaguar that you are a Jaguar fan. Maybe. So you know what's going on with Hunter better than anybody. Chase, Rashee Rice, Hunter, Jamo, Trey McBride. First running backs start going. We got Montgomery, Caleb, Jordan Mason. Yeah. This is a win the tournament type of thing. I don't know what Duval means. What am I missing? But I'm a win the tournament. This is a win the tournament approach. Win the tournament, right? Bajal Tootin in there, another Jaguar. You got to be from the Jaguars with all these Jaguars on your thing here. Yeah, Goff pick. I think. Did you tell me Goff was a auto pick? Is that what happened there? That was definitely not who I would have taken there. As a matter of fact, if this would have kept going, but instead of Goff, you maybe grab like, I don't know, Baker Mayfield there. I would have been more excited. Bajal Tootin, I like. Trevor Lawrence. There you go. We got the full Jaguar situation happening here. Almost too many. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. So this again, if you wait for a quarterback, you take 3 of them. Pat Bryant, Romeo Doubs, De'Ami Brown. There we go with the Jaguars again. So a lot of Jaguars on this team. Let's see how that goes. Drago, triple stack of first 6 picks. You come out with 3 and 4, first 7 picks, but you went wide receivers first. And of course, a reach for Justin Jefferson at pick 3. Fine. A reach for T. Higgins there at 22, but hey, whatever. Then we got Omarion, Chuba. I don't even understand how these two. Normally, Chuba goes ahead of Omarion, but whatever. This is a great double tap. Usually, you can't get both these guys. And James Conner, who I was hoping for at that point. Travis Etienne, fine. Hawkinson. Got a good group of running backs here. May and McCarthy. Double tap those QBs. You have an earlier QB? Nope, just 2 QBs in this one. McCarthy goes with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. Drake May, really no correlation there. None whatsoever. That's okay. Oh, Hunter Henry with Drake May. Dante Thornton there. Good draft. Fact 74. Our new friend. Bijan. Devon Achane. Double tap. Love that pairing, right? Can't go wrong. This was a great Achane share this late in the draft. We got Wilson, Worthy, Cortland Sutton, fine. Get Burrow at a bargain price. Pacheco needed that third starting running back in there. Cooper Kupp, we don't know what to expect. Tyrone Tracy, Evan Ingram. So Jordan Love, is that our first? No, our second QB off the board. Jordan Love, like him. Love Trey Benson this year. Thielen, a good pick. So this is a pretty good overall draft. Fact 74, I like it. I think you got a solid team built there. Got a couple more to go. Razor, my man, starts with Amon-Ra, then triple tap those running backs. Your boy, Jonathan Taylor, love him forever. Kyron Williams, James Cook, really good touchdown scorers. Addison, another touchdown scorer. And we got Addison Laporta, we'll get a lot of Detroit, Minnesota sort of back and forths here. We got Detroit, Minnesota. So Razor was pissed when UCF auto took Goff. This was a team definitely being planned for Goff at QB. Didn't work out. That's how it goes in these types of drafts. I love this trio here. K-Shaq, Bateman, Marvin Mims Jr., all guys that can score touchdowns, that can have big weeks. You need a lot of them. Addison's suspension should be something that you are very concerned with. If it happens, that will fuck those shares. Bryce Young in there, a couple of tight ends. Fewer tight ends than I'm used to seeing. That's Laporta, Likely, and Pitts. And went late with backup running back types. Sam Darnold here is a good play. All right, at the tail end, we had Soups and Fungul going at it, head to head. Derrick Henry drops to Soups with pick 11. That's pretty good. Good start. Malik Neighbors, Lamar, Breece Hall second, and then Kamara, Ridley. Pretty good. Don't need to stack Lamar. He's a guy you can stack or not. It doesn't matter. Diggs is there. Shaheed. Diggs, big upside. Shaheed, fine. Aaron Jones, Mark Andrews. Tucker Kraft. So we got a couple of decent tight ends there. I don't know who Gunnar Helm is. We found a player. Zach Moss, I don't like this pick late at all. Not even as a backup. I just don't. Zach Moss stinks. Mario Douglas in there, but no quarterback. Just a couple of pieces. Stephon Diggs. So some pieces from the Patriots without the QB. Yeah. Right? Like the auto, like you got sniped by the auto draft. What the fuck? Thanks, underdog, for fucking me. Fungul with the strong start of Collins, Brian Thomas. Maybe too early for George Kittle there. Maybe too early for Kittle and Kelsey. So I guess, Ray, this is what you've been talking about. Maybe, I don't know, the double tap of stud tight end. I don't know. Kittle and Kelsey. Too much. We got Kenny Walker and Joe Mixon as the starting running backs. Not bad, but not great. Jalen Wright, Jaden Blue. So, Fungul, listen, it's not for me to say anything except for, bro, you got to take fucking more running backs. You can't do this. It's very dangerous to take Kelsey and Kittle and leave other running backs for other people. Yeah, this is YOLO. Listen, you know, this was a crazy one because you're going to be hurting at running back unless something happens, an injury happens, and one of these turds is playing. Like, you can't count on Jalen Wright. I think Jalen Wright will be playing every week. Jaden Blue, Jerome Ford, no. And Kenny Walker gets hurt. Sometimes you got to YOLO these. That's why we do a lot of them. They're snake drafts. You got to do a ton of these to get one that's good. It's fine. Just keep doing them. I don't like that draft for you this time, Polak, but let's learn from it. What do we learn? You can't take too early. You take too early tight ends, your team's going to look like shit. That's what you learn. If you take too early tight ends, and you get it, just your team's going to look bad. Some of these other players are great. I like Josh Downs. I like Darnell Mooney. I like the two quarterback, Bo Nix. Maybe the second one I don't like. Like right here, Bo Nix. Do I need Dak? Could have gotten Javante there. I don't know that. I see the first two. I don't know what you could have done. You kind of got stuck with once Henry is gone. I think you probably do have to take the two wide receivers because, again, your next guys are really Taylor, Devon Achane, and Irving. And maybe this is a little soon to take those guys. So I don't mind the double tap of wide receiver. My issue probably is this pick. Had you not taken George Kittle, could have gotten James Cook and Kenny Walker, could have gotten something a little different here. And then again here, Instead of Mixon, you know, Swift was available. There were still running backs available. Let's see. Mixon went this way. Yeah, I mean, James Conner. It's tough at the end, though. That's another thing. It's tough drafting at the end. It's rare that you're going to get any value that drops to you or one piece of value, but the second player, you almost always have to reach. You don't want to take exact ADP when you're drafting at the end. So, all right. Guys, let's wrap it up there. We did a couple of underdogs. Maybe we'll get back to DraftKings on Wednesday for this. And again, keep in mind, I might switch the time to 5 o'clock. We might start doing more of the later day ones. So let me know if you hate that idea in the comments. I'm not going to do them all that way, but I definitely want to kind of do some, especially when the weather's amazing out. And unless I can figure out how to do these poolside, I'd rather wait later in the day. So a little bit of that as summer hours will start to come in, but I'm having a lot of fun doing these Draft-a-Paloozas. Hopefully you guys are enjoying them and enjoying hanging out as well. Yeah, off to the water park. That's what's up. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Draft-a-Palooza. Let's go.